Hey everybody, it's Boom Goes the Dynamite with 3/4 of our AEW crew. I'm Paul Fontaine. The guy on the bottom of the screen is Jeff Hawkins, and to my right is, or I guess that'd be your right, my left, is Kevin Neely. How's it going, gentlemen?
Hey.
Excellent.
All right, and we're here to preview Double or Nothing, which Kevin and I will be at. James is going to join us, but as you all know, yeah, it's been a week.
Keep flexing, Paul. Yeah, I know. All y'all are gonna be in Vegas. Jeff,
wow.
who lives the closest, probably.
Who lives the closest? Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Well, maybe James
All
now.
right. You cashed in all your chips at the beginning of the year.
So take a shot of something stronger than Diet Coke every time I say that I'm going to be there live, and you'll be passed out by the time this show's over. A&W root beer. There you go.
Frosty mug taste.
I just finished a can of Diet Cheer wine, so I'm gonna.
All right. So yeah, we got Double or Nothing coming up this week, and we've got the full lineup, which I got directly from AEW. I got added to their mailing list, and it's more flexing. We've got I think it's 10 matches right now. And we'll go over the lineup as well.
Is that all? Only 10
so far? There could be more. In fact, I kind of half expect there will be more because they got a lot of talent that's not even on the show yet. But of course, as you saw at the top of the thing, and if you didn't, I'll throw it up again. The main event, the one everyone's looking forward to, is Hangman and CM Punk for the AEW World Title. This has been kind of the direction they've been going since the last pay-per-view. Since we were last together, we kind of suspected that this would be the main event. I think we all kind of made our predictions, and most of us thought it would be Hangman. Jeff, you're nodding. Okay, well, you know what? Let's get the hard question out of the way first, because this, to me, this is the hardest main event that I've ever had to predict for AEW.
Oh, so you want me to predict the main event?
I want you to predict
right off the bat.
Right in.
Or tell me, like, is it too hard to call? Because you can make good cases both ways.
It's very hard to call.
Yeah.
I'll admit that it's very and I have already been on prediction shows, and I've thought about reversing my picks a couple times just to keep everybody guessing. But to be honest, I think the choice here is to go with CM Punk. It's interesting because I don't know what that says about Page's run as a champion, and I don't know if CM Punk necessarily expands the audience by being a champion with some cash outside of AEW, and a guy who can definitely cut a masterful promo and talk people into the building. But overall, I think it's the right call to make Punk the champ here.
I'm going to agree with you, and then I'm going to let Kevin give the other side, because I think I know where he's going.
You might be surprised.
Okay, well, go for it, because I think it should be Punk. I've said that all along, and because I think that there's money in Punk as champion going into Chicago, in a big title defense.
I agree. I do agree with that. It was last Wednesday when I changed my mind. I had been Team Hangman the whole way and making every justification I could. And then at a certain point, I realized that all of my rationale was based on the premise that I was trying to save Hangman's title reign and not necessarily what was best. I was asking what was best for Hangman and not necessarily what was best for AEW. And it was last week when CM Punk was doing commentary during that Takeshita match with Hangman Page that I realized this would be amazing if it was the champion with the belt sitting there at the commentary table talking about his next challenger, because the whole reign of Hangman Page, the thing that I've been trying to beat the drum on, is he needed to be on TV more, is they needed to feature him more. What does the champ think of this? Let's talk to the champ backstage about what just happened in hour one. And for whatever reason, they don't do that with Hangman. They don't feel they can do with Hangman, or they don't want to do that with Hangman as much, or he doesn't do as well in that position. And Punk can be that guy. He can be the guy who will build up those contenders, monthly when they bring them up. He'll talk about, put them over. Like he is making Hangman seem awesome going into this match. And Hangman's fulfilling his part of the deal, and playing the role well, but it's really Punk is the guy who's telling the story, and he's the best storyteller in wrestling right now, as far as I'm concerned.
And
I agree. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
Just to add on there, when I say, I mean, especially on our show weekly, and I've a lot of people get on me about, oh, you're being too hard on Adam Page. I don't necessarily blame Adam Page.
Yeah.
I mean, his feuds that they've thrown him into have been, to quote another person on this card, mid. And
mid.
yes, and it's hard to build heat for a 2-week feud where you're doing it, where it's like attack 1 week, Texas death match the next, and then we're on to the next feud. And it's hard to build up a guy who is more than just, I mean, that's what you expect in a mid-card champion. Mm-hmm. It's not what you expect for the face of your brand. You expect every time he's on to be something big. And I don't blame him for it necessarily. I do think he could have brought a little bit more on his promos overall, but in terms of the program, he didn't get to select the programs he was in. He didn't get to select the what were the feuds other than the Murder Hawk monster that he had?
Danielson. Yeah.
Okay, and Danielson was in the midst of, are we turning him heel or not? Because Moxley was out, and that was a little confusing as well. So, I mean, I don't blame Page for this 100%.
Well, and you talk about, blame Page, and Kevin made the point, like, he's trying to save his championship run. And meanwhile, I mean, there's nothing wrong with his run. He won the title in November. It's May now. That's 6 months. I mean, I guess in AEW parlance, that's, a short reign, but in pro wrestling history, there's nothing wrong with a 6-month title reign with 4 title defenses and 5-star matches. And, like, he's going to get the title again. Yeah. You may not have another chance to put the title on Punk, I've heard the argument that, Punk beats him, or Punk loses this time and then Hangman puts him over later. And you could do that, but you could also have Punk have a nice little run. And Kevin, I never even thought of that point until I heard you make it, of the way that Punk is able to talk up the challengers, and he builds the challengers up to be bigger than they were before he faced them. And that's what he's done with Hangman. He brought out something from Hangman that we haven't seen, like in AEW. We've seen the angry, pissed off cowboy that, we saw it a little bit when he was first teaming up with Omega, but it kind of went away, when during the pandemic and we had the melodramatic, what was the term that Dan Lambert used?
Anxious millennial cowboy.
Yeah, the anxious millennial cowboy. And now he's back to being, he's doing cowboy shit. And this is going to be a great match. And I mean, it could go either way. And, I don't think Brian Alvarez made a great point. I think it was on Wrestling Observer Radio, Wrestling Observer Live, it's B&V show. He said that he thinks this is the toughest one to call, but yet when it's over, everyone's going to be surprised. Like, they're going to be, I can't believe they did that, even though and it doesn't matter which way it goes, that you might say that either way, like, oh my God, they put Punk over. Oh my God, they put Hangman over, but I think it's going to be clean. And I think it's going to be a great match. And get ready, take a shot. Two out of the 3 of us are going to see it live at the end of a long week of wrestling. Although, Kevin, I guess you're only going in for Double or Nothing, but I think I'm in for at least 5 shows at this point, maybe more.
I think it must be said, though, since we're on this, and I don't know if we're coming back to it, that you are making a trade-off with Punk. You are trading, and you brought it up in some ways, Paul. You are trading 5-star matches or story matches, and we will see if business follows with it. That's the thing that I am most interested in out of this, is because it is a tonal shift in some ways. It is a shift away from the people who say, oh, work rate's going to grow this company. This is the work rate company. This is the 5-star match company. And you get 5-star matches every other week on AEW. Okay. But we're going to step away from that for a second and do a little experiment over here and see what it does.
Punk is
good. I'm not saying he's going to be given he's 2-star matches or anything like that. But I mean, he tells a story match. He does not do the smooth Okada Omega Tokyo Dome style.
Here's the thing, though. If with Punk as champion, there'll be no question who the champion is, who the face of the brand is. The show's going to revolve around him. Yeah, and the feuds are going to be great. Yeah.
I agree.
So that's the plus with him. And then you got Moxley. Punk and Moxley is an amazing feud. If you turn Punk heel, that you could do a double turn there, because I'm still not even sure if Moxley's a face.
Punk could do where you don't even have to turn, though. Punk,
right? Yeah.
Because Punk's got this story, this aging gunslinger story of can I still be the fastest draw in the West, and giving him the belt will just level the stakes of that so much more. Okay, now I got it. I proved I still have it. How long can I keep it?
And yeah, every gunfighter's coming into town.
Everybody's going to
Ric
come
Flair in when he had that storyline in the mid '80s where he was desperate to keep the title, and he's willing to do whatever it took.
He can have a long run or a fairly long run.
There's money. There's
just
a lot
defending
of money
against people taking on Takeshita or Moxley or whoever, or doing a long feud, bringing back MJF, all that stuff. And then when that plays its course, then he can become the desperate gunslinger.
He could become Harley Race.
Yeah.
In the latter stage before he lost to Flair, where he's just like he's paying people to attack people, and just that's how desperate he is.
Bring back the Elite Society. Okay, so I had asked you guys before we started doing this, and we'll get into the plan thing, and I even put this in the Facebook group, and we'll get to some of these other matches in a bit, but I want to ask you, Kevin, what match on the show are you most looking forward to?
Well, crap! I said I had Punk Hangman written down, so that's
there you go.
Well, so I'll go the other way because we just talked. I mean, it is the one I'm most looking forward to for all the reasons we just said. I don't know where it's going to go. I know it's going to be dramatic, and I know it's going to be a great story. So just because that's already out of the way, I'm going to go with the Hookhausen match.
Oh, okay.
Wow, really?
That's
I'm just excited to see Danhausen live. I don't know. I can't. No good reason. And
have you ever seen him wrestle?
I've seen clips of him wrestle. Okay. I don't expect we will even see what he can do. I think it'll just be all scurrying around and cursing, and I'm expecting a pretty fun comedy match.
I'm a little sad James isn't here, because every time you and James talk about Danhausen, he says he's not that bad of a wrestler.
Yeah,
I've seen him. He's not that good of a wrestler.
He's not bad though.
He's not good.
Here's the thing.
You will never see how
like good what you again. Like, Kevin. Yeah. Stand your ground here.
You will never see how good he is ever again, because he has no need to ever show you how good of a wrestler he is.
True. I mean, in terms of AEW, like he's way down the list. Like probably in the bottom 25 percentile, and that may be a little high.
Right.
Okay, so I'll go next, and I'll let you go, Jeff. For me, it's MJF and Wardlow. About two weeks ago, I think it was it the Long Island show or the show before that? It came to me that Wardlow, he's gonna be the world champion someday, and I never thought that before that week. And everything I see now, like they're turning him into Goldberg.
He'll win the world title at WrestleMania is my prediction.
Yeah. And you've got all these like Jeff, you talked about it, with Punk, you're trading in the 5-star matches for the storylines, but then they've got Goldberg, and I think at some point he's going to win the title, and then the 5-star matches are out the window, and it doesn't matter because he's not going to be doing like 3-minute squashes. He's better than Goldberg was, I think. But he's so perfect because he's not perfect. You know what I mean? Like he is the anti-AEW guy in a lot of ways, except he's the AEW homegrown guy, and it's the guy like I nobody saw him coming. You guys compared him to Batista on the Boom this week, and that's a great comparison. I mean, I see Goldberg. You've got the Wardlow. We're gonna be doing it, Kevin. Take a shot when we're there live in Vegas to watch the show. We're going to be chanting along with everybody else. Yeah. So, it's MJF Wardlow for me for sure. And I don't know how anybody. So I saw somebody the odds posted. I like MJF at those odds. You nuts? There's no.
Hey,
way
that was me.
Was that you?
Yeah, that was me.
Are you nuts?
I'm just saying, it's my long shot call. It's my long shot call.
That MJF I'm betting on professional wrestling.
Just give me your money and don't bother giving it to the bookie. Goodness. Jeff, what do you like?
I am also choosing MJF versus Wardlow.
Okay.
It is the best story that this company has ever told.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
In terms of build, in terms of continuing on, in terms of raising stakes, in terms of cashing in on those stakes. When we saw that first vignette of Wardlow, the parking lot vignette where he beats up Alan Five Angels and a couple other extras. Yeah. The collective groan that you heard across the smart, quote unquote, wrestling universe of, we got a WWE guy in AEW. or whatever.
Yeah.
But damn, if MJF has not had just an incredible run telling this story, and Wardlow as well. Look, I've said it every week on our show. Wardlow has some of the best reactions and deliveries in terms of wrestling acting for a big guy I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's naturally charismatic. He gets it. He has timing. He has stage presence. And I am here for the moment he wins and just the collective release of that crowd, because it's going to be huge and it's going to be fantastic. And I've already said what I think the ending is going to be. And I think it's going to be, I think MJF is going to get screwed somehow by the referee. Oh. I think there's going to be a foot under the rope or something, because it will then save MJF for the inevitable Punk World Title program. He didn't actually lose. He was screwed by the refs. And the refs aren't going to screw me this time. And it keeps him strong. And then Wardlow goes off to start his build to perhaps the TNT title, I think. But yeah, I am here for that match. Absolutely.
What if Wardlow rips the ring off his finger and punches him out with it?
And he rips the finger off with it. I'm here for that. I'm here for that as a dramatic.
You know who he it just came to me too while you were talking there. Who he kind of reminds me of, in a way, is Hulk Hogan. Like the way he sells and the way he gets the crowd behind him with the emotion.
He doesn't play to the crowd as much though. Like he's not as overtly.
He will learn that as he goes.
I'm talking early Hulk. Like,
oh, okay, yeah.
As the
AWA Hulk.
Yeah, and even early WWF. He was still. You watch those 84, even 85 matches. He was still learning. The Hulk formula didn't really come in until about the Orndorff feud.
He hadn't invented looking to the crowd before he hit the big punch.
Yeah.
The only major.
But I'm talking about the selling. I'm talking about the selling. Where he's able to get the emotion and the sympathy from the crowd, like in that thing I just showed there with MJF standing over him. I mean, that's Piper.
He has a great way of selling that I noticed in the strap segment, that when he finally got hit with that ninth one and he winced, the way that he sold it, like how angry he was that he sold it. He sold it in a way that was like, ouch, I have to react, and then this like frustration.
Like, oh, why did I do
of like you could just see the story being told. I love that, how he was, this guy's not going to break me. I'm going to show him. I'm going to be cool the whole time. And then that ninth one just hurt a little bit. And damn it,
Yeah.
The only difficulty now is that he's killed every giant in AEW, and even a couple from Impact, if you think about it. So it's one of those things where it's like, you can't book him like Hogan. So you got the especially off the bat, but that first feud is going to be important. Yeah, it can't be. I mean, look, we make these mistakes with champions all the time now, where it's like, Daniel Bryan won the WWE title and now he's got a feud with Kane.
Right?
And Page's first feud is going to be, he had the Danielson, but then
the monster
Archer, which is fine, but. Okay, where are the stake to that? Nobody thinks Archer's going to win that one. I think there has to be someone who might be a little bit better than Wardlow. You can't just throw him up against like the Acclaim.
Right.
Yeah.
But like a Samoa Joe or something.
Yeah.
Would be pretty amazing. Like, oh, you think you're the big man now? Like, I think that would, I mean, those two are like a complete different trajectories right now, but that's just an example of like someone who has the credibility.
Somebody with some heft in it.
Yeah.
And James isn't here, so he'll take House of Black against the Death Triangle.
He's a huge House of Black fan. Let me tell you.
Yeah. No, he would have picked Hookhausen, I think, just like you.
He might have actually.
Yeah.
We're pretty excited about Hookhausen.
I think he would have picked the three-way, the tag team.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, and
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
That's what he'd pick.
That's gonna be a good one. And that one is, if you're looking at the odds, I mean, that one is pretty much like 50, like 33, whatever you want to call it. No one, like anybody could win that. Like I tend to think it's funny because I predicted, I think Jurassic Express to lose every single title defense between now, like that they've had, and now I'm predicting that they'll win, so they'll probably lose. All right, so we got also the Owen. Now we don't know the finalists. I've got that graphic there.
Hey, but real quick,
Yeah.
I forgot to bring this up about Wardlow. So since we're doing this before even Dynamite or Rampage airs,
well, I guess there's
we got the cage match on Wednesday, and one of the things I noticed about that they're basically running down the exact step by step of the Cody MJF feud.
Mm-hmm.
So on the Boom on Sunday, we were talking about, will we see Wardlow do a moonsault off the cage onto MJF and Spears, or are we just overthinking it, trying to make it too much like the Cody?
Well, wasn't there somebody showed like the actual framing of the shots and everything was almost the same? Was it you that tweeted that or somebody else?
I don't know.
But with the Cody and the Wardlow stuff.
They're just mirroring it so exactly. I mean,
I could see him doing a moonsault off the cage,
but then making it, they're obviously different in terms of how Wardlow behaves versus how Cody behaves. But
it's 4 days before the pay-per-view. There's no way in hell he's doing a moonsault off.
Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, good.
Logic prevails.
Sorry, let me throw some cynical water on.
As you can see, though, they've got the little star there. Must meet the stipulated sanctions because, of course, Wardlow has to beat Shawn Spears in the cage on Wednesday. I'll be there live to see it. Take a shot. And hopefully
I'm not participating in this
the take a shot thing. My first Dynamite live. That'll be fun. So the Owen, we've got Adam Cole's in the finals. We know that. And he's going to be facing, at this point, either Samoa Joe or Kyle O'Reilly. I've been on the record. I'm bullish on the fact that I don't think Samoa Joe and Kyle O'Reilly are actually going to have a match. I think they did that angle at the end of the thing, and we're going to find out that Joe has an injury. If they do have the match, here's a talking point, because we had an interesting discussion about this in our Slack chat today, and I think I personally want to see Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. Now I know we've seen it a half dozen times in NXT last year, but this is AEW. They're going to have a better match, and I mean, I honestly I didn't even really it wasn't even at the top of my mind. And even Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer said it'll be a unique match. And when I read that, I laughed because we saw it on TakeOver last year, like every other month.
Right.
But it's to AEW fans who I don't think a lot of them were watching NXT. Maybe this is a fresh match. And and I think it'd be a good match. Whereas Joe, his feud is with Lethal. The thing is, they could even add that to the pre-show or something. And meanwhile, Kyle O'Reilly's not even on the pay-per-view. So I'm going with Kyle O'Reilly. You guys tell me I'm wrong. Jeff?
This is one I struggle with.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. Because I believe it was you who first opined that the winners of this should be Cole and DMD.
Yeah. King and Queen.
As King and Queen. I think they should go the opposite way. I think it should be two people who aren't Adam Cole and Britt Baker. So I am going to say that the finals of this tournament will be Adam Cole and a player to be named later.
Okay.
I think Joe pulls it out against Kyle O'Reilly, is unable to continue, or gets the post-match beatdown from somebody. We make a last-minute decision. We had a standby, whatever, and it's whoever the surprise that they always do on a pay-per-view is going to be, and they win the Owen.
That'd be interesting.
Do you have a pick for who it is?
I don't.
We that is going to be one of our questions later about a surprise. Now, Kevin, you had an interesting.
I can think about that for a second. Get back to me.
My pick today was Takeshita.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like he won a lot of people over last week. I think they're ready. I think they're ready to accept him as a surprise superstar. It didn't even occur to me that Joe would win the match and be unable to continue. I think that's a really good idea. That way you still get the match this week. But I was thinking it would be like on Wednesday they would say that he can't continue and the Takeshita comes out and beats him, and that way you have the big thing going into the finals. I think they could do that. If they did it, I would have him win the whole thing and just say, hey, this is our new guy. I don't even know the logistics of is he like full time with them, or is he
for a year is what I heard.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I think that would go over pretty well.
I think you're right.
If that were to happen.
I mean,
I also want to see the visual of Takeshita towering over Adam Cole.
You said Kenny Omega on.
Well, no,
now
that was someone on
that's a shot in the
Twitter.
dark. Yeah.
That was like, I know, I don't. That's not realistic at all. I don't think. But just storyline wise, if you wanted a hot shot, that whole elite thing in one fell swoop, you bring in Omega as the surprise and have him beat Adam Cole, and then it's like, okay, but whose side is everyone on and all that stuff. That just is too hot shotty for, that's not enough like staring at each other longingly enough to do that.
Now you could do Miro. I mean, it doesn't make any sense storyline wise, but get a huge pop.
Yeah, I think if they're going to surprise Joe, it's going to be someone, I don't know. I want to say it's going to be someone meaningful, but I can't think of who that would be.
Here's one.
Yeah, Gargano.
Yeah.
I have one.
Okay.
Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
To then also build to Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
And that would be Cole, right?
Well, I mean, I think he beats Cole, but I think it's part of the plug. It's part of the plug to get the buy for the next pay-per-view. Is we're gonna use one of the New Japan people who was on this Capital Collision card, who are still in the States, I believe. So it could be him, it could be Okada, but I'll go with Tanahashi here.
Okay, here's another one. What about Jay White, who was in that promo with Adam Cole? Now Jay White's not going to have the cachet of a Hiroshi Tanahashi. So maybe that's not a great idea, but Jay White came to me. Okay. Now we just spoiled one of our later segments, but that's okay. Now the women, I personally, I'm predicting Britt and Ruby. I think this final should have been Britt and Tony, but we're obviously seeing that this week. And the other semifinal is Ruby and the Alien. So I think we're all in agreement that Ruby's winning that side. And I think they could go either way with Britt and you're not so sure, eh?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But let's continue. I'll talk.
Well, I Britt and Ruby, and I got Ruby going over. And again, I'm just gonna stick to my safe picks. I said Britt and Adam before they even announced all the people. I just thought they were gonna win, so I'll stick with that for now. And I'm sure you guys will have something different. We'll let Jeff think a bit. Kevin, what do you got?
I may need to think more too.
So yeah,
I got my answer.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Look, all three of the women that aren't Britt Baker need wins more than Britt Baker. So I don't think Britt Baker wins.
Okay.
I could see up until maybe last week putting Statlander over Ruby Riott. But she has done nothing on promos or in those segments to help her cause that she needs the win in the finals here. The correct pick here to go with is Toni Storm winning this thing, because Toni Storm had a hot debut, much like Ruby Riott, and got cooled off almost immediately by getting put in all these segments with all the heels and whatnot. So if we're gonna actually rectify this, let's have Toni Storm and Ruby Riott have a banger of a match. But Ruby doesn't need to win it. Ruby can get cooled off until she takes the TBS title for all I care. I think Toni Storm needs to be pushed as a face of the division type of contender for the top belt in the division, and I think this is how they rectify not following up well on the debut.
I would agree with that. They have so botched rebooting Chris Statlander. It's been really sad. Like she has a cool sort of new swagger to her a little bit in the ring. But they've just, they put her on Dark and Elevation, and then she hasn't lost yet, has she?
Who? Storm?
Chris?
Or Statlander?
Not
since she came back.
Not since the reboot.
Yeah.
Oh, but she went
Chris or whatever.
But she went like 10 minutes with Julia Hart. So it's like, I agree. I think she would need the win, but I don't think I don't think she's gonna be someone that they're gonna put over the top. This whole division has been Jade and Britt and everybody else, and they've got to have someone up at that level again. And Tony's really the only one primed to do that, because everyone else would need a lot more rehabbing or just be totally new out of the gate. And so, yeah, I think it'd be a mistake if it was anybody but Tony.
When you say she hasn't lost, do you realize, and I think you guys actually might have mentioned it, the match she just had with Red Velvet was the first time she's been on TV since she lost to Layla Hirsch on the buy-in.
Right, and she didn't even get an entrance.
No. So that's, when you talk about botching, I mean, it's right there. Okay, so yeah, no, solid pick. So So did you give a pick? You're agreeing with Jeff?
I'd say Tony wins it. I'd say she beats. I'm going to go ahead and say she beats Chris.
Okay. Yeah. So Chris gets the upset over Ruby. That's it's a way to go. All right. So our next question that we talked about which match we're all looking forward to next. So which match can you do without? And I'm going to say, this has nothing to do with whether or not it's going to be a good match or not. If I had to bet money, I'd say it's probably not going to be a great match, but it could be all right. But this match had maybe the worst build of any pay-per-view match that AEW has ever done. It was like about 10 seconds of build, and it was Jade Cargill and Anna Jay. Like, I have no idea why this is on the pay-per-view. This should have been like a Rampage main event, or even Dynamite after the pay-per-view. Like, they just threw it together. And I mean, they got 3 women's matches on the pay-per-view. Maybe they're trying to say, hey, we don't always just have one, but I'm not looking forward. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Jade in person. I'll say that. And Anna, but I'm not really looking forward to the match. I may just go and grab a drink while this match is going on. Jeff, do you have an idea?
I was going to say the same thing for a different reason. I hate television championships being defended on pay-per-views.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I like the purity of this is a title belt. It's going to be defended on the free television. And I hated when WCW did this too, when they started defending the TV title on pay-per-view. I just thought it was, there's a reason why it's a television championship, and there's a reason why these titles are both named after networks. Let's stick with that. I kind of agree with the comment as well. That's probably my second place one, but I've already spoken, so I'm going to say Jade and Anna Jay, unfortunately. And you're correct that the build for this was effing ridiculous.
Yeah.
She's saving somebody who's still in the Owen tournament, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like when I had, I didn't, I always watch Rampage late, and somebody mentioned, Jade is defending the title against Anna Jay. And I'm like, what? Yeah. I and then they're like, yeah, they did a little something on Rampage. Yeah. A little something is maybe overselling it.
Yeah. I don't know. I agree. I am looking forward to seeing Jade. So I'm glad that she's on the card in that way.
We have good seats too. So,
but and
that's trolling me. Shut up. No.
I just want to note that that's all Paul.
Yeah.
I would not be this mean to you.
I know, it's fun. This is beginning.
I'm gonna miss you, Jeff. I really am. No, I'm being legit.
I'm thinking about
Oliver
driving,
Cobb too.
I'm
If you're
about
watching,
driving last second, so
I'm missing Oliver. I really wish he'd fly in from Germany. But anyways, go ahead, Kevin.
Sorry. So yeah, all the reasons you just said, and I completely agree. And one of the things that James and I talk about sometimes is the love, like when they have the Battle of the Belts, and I think this applies to pay-per-views of branding at Championship Week or something like that, where they have enough depth and enough things going on where they can have important matches on television the week of a pay-per-view and essentially make it like so FTR is defending the ROH tag titles. Mm-hmm. That's great. I'd prefer them to be on the show. But if you're going to have a match, then do that. So like, why wouldn't Jade defend the title on television on the network of her title the week of the thing? But my number one would be the Bucks versus Hardys. Cause I don't need to see the Hardys again. I saw the Hardys 22 years ago. I saw Matt. I was there when Matt Hardy jumped off and did the leg drop off the cage onto Edge. That was peak Hardy moment for me. I don't need to. I want to leave the memories alone, and I don't need to see them. This is not a dream match for me.
Elite versus Delete. I don't know. I mean, for Tony, it is, I think. And other than that, I'm not sure who else it would be. And
also very bad build.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I will say that, you knew this was coming, like maybe as far as 2 months ago. They were kind of hinting at it. They just kind of went in opposite directions because Jeff was in the tournament and the Bucks were doing their thing with FTR, but they were always kind of the Bucks.
They're doing the Young Bucks thing. They're going to come out after something happens and stare at you and kind of, Matt's going to like purse his lips and stuff, and then that's going to be somehow a feud's going to come out of that.
Now, the one thing I will say about this match, though, and the reason I didn't pick it, even though I'm not really looking forward to it, is because in a way I am looking forward to it because I know it's going to be a great match because I know the Bucks are going to be motivated to have a great match, and even if it means that they're just bumping around like pinballs, like as if it was FTR Rock and Roll Express, like they're going to have a good match regardless of what the Hardys do. So unless they drop dead in the middle of a match, which is, oh God, I shouldn't have said that. But
of all people, Paul.
Yeah, I know.
Come on,
yeah, I know. But no, I mean, they're going to have a good match. So I'm sure at the end of the match, it'll be like, okay, great. We got it. Let's never see it again. Let the Hardys. Yeah.
I do expect to enjoy it more than I'm looking forward to it.
Fair
if that
enough.
Makes any sense at all.
Yeah. And I've heard a lot of people making that comment as well. So, all right. So our next match that I wanted to talk about is the women's title match, and there was a segment that was very divisive on the show this week, and Jeff and I disagreed, and that was the selling point of the show. I really liked the Deeb promo. I didn't even hear the fans chanting what and everything. Apparently they were, but I didn't hear it. But it's Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa. So I want you guys to talk about this match a little bit. I just got to deal with something here. So,
okay. All right,
go.
Well, the thing was, Paul, since you're spiking and I can't hear you right now, can you hear me?
Talk
Kevin?
About the promo and talk about the match.
Yeah. Well, see, I listened to Kevin and James's show, and they agreed with me.
It's true.
The promo was good on paper, but the delivery was bad. It shouldn't have been an arena promo. It should have been a pre-tape or an interview or a studio wrestling promo where you could hear the emotion, or a manager should have given this promo. That was my thing, and it had to be a certain kind of manager. And I said Taz or Tully Blanchard would have been the best. The kinds that have natural chips on their shoulder that could get Deeb's rage while she sees over there. This match, on the other hand, Kevin.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to it because I think it's going to be sneaky good. I think I'm not going to say it's going to steal the show because I don't think it's going to get the time for that. But we saw this on a pre-show on a pay-per-view, and it almost did steal the show. Yeah. I forget which one it was. I know it was in Jacksonville. I know it was outside. I can't name which pay-per-view it was offhand because my memory is gone.
Either, yeah.
But these two have great chemistry, and I think Serena has found her character quite well. Not enough to win the title just yet, although I'd love to see her be women's champion in this company.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is going to be a hell of a match, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so too. I think because Thunder she defended her title once, right, since winning it, like the obligatory Nyla Rose defense.
Yeah.
And so she hasn't gotten to have like any sort of standout match. And I think she's going to be really motivated. Clearly, I think that's part of the storyline is her being motivated. And even Dustin's involvement, I think, I assume that he's involved in the match, not on camera, but behind it. And I think he will be very involved in helping them have a very dramatic match. So I think there will be some good storyline, not just like some good technical work, but
do you think that he does get involved on camera, though? Oh, that's my fear. I mean, I know Tony loves his purity in his pay-per-views, but man, there's always one match where they go to the sports entertainment type stuff.
I hope that if he does, it's really more the thing of him just outside the ring, exhorting her to dig deep, to try to overcome, and maybe it's that kind of thing, but not so much an interference because Deeb doesn't really have anyone to interfere on her behalf, so it's not anything for him to offset. So,
well, I'm my fear is the mistaken shot or makes the mistake that costs
which
Thunder
they
Rosa
teased,
the match, and then
they teased last week,
yes,
with her throwing the elbow against him on accident. So, I kind of go either way on who wins. You said you think Thunder's going to win.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I think she wins, or she keeps. How about this? She keeps the title.
Okay, I'm kind of wondering if it's going to be a match where they come back and do another.
Yeah,
I had maybe it's my WWE watching eyes, but I missed some of what you guys were saying there. But I just had a feeling they're setting up a Dustin Rhodes turn, and that he's going to end up with Deeb
against. What we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh.
So we'll see.
Can Dustin Rhodes turn? Is he just one of those guys that,
or would it turn Deeb?
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean you're probably right. Okay, so we asked another question. So we talked about what match would you do without. there is a lot of talent on this show, or that's not on this show. That's in the company. That's not on this show. So who is somebody that you guys wish were on
Kevin
the show?
and I are going to give the same answer to this. I can almost.
I got an
guarantee
alternate
it.
because I'm not because I'm not.
Okay, so Jeff say Sting. Oh no, okay, go ahead. Who are you going to say?
FTR.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Both Kevin and I are on agreement that he has an alternate, and then I'll think of an alternate while he's talking about his alternate.
But FTR for you? Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're the best tag team in the world. That's what I want to see.
Well, this is why I don't want the Steiners in AEW either, but that's another story.
Dax Harwood is my current favorite wrestler in the world, and they're the best team in the world. I've only seen them as the Revival. I'm super sad that I'm not going to get to see them there. But my alternate is Dante Martin.
Oh yeah,
I have seen Dante Martin in person. But here's one of the things that I've been talking about in the boom. My wife is coming with me to this show. We've been together for 23 years. She knew this coming in before we started dating, that I was this crazy wrestling fan. Never has once gone to a show with me. She's coming into town. We're going to go. Her first ever experience is going to be a 5-hour pay-per-view. Luckily there's a bar nearby. So like what I'm playing for is no big bloodbaths.
Wow.
And a couple of wow moments. And if Dante Martin was there, that's what because he is breathtaking in person.
Yeah. Okay. You know who she's gonna like, I think, is Hangman.
Danhausen.
Well, maybe Danhausen.
I've
told the story before. My sister, I brought her to the first Double or Nothing, and that was the first live wrestling show she'd ever seen. First time she'd watched wrestling in 20 years, and she was in love with Hangman by the end of the night. So, and she was probably about the same age as your wife is, I would imagine. You know, so she's like I think my sister just turned 40. So, okay, so we've got. So you said FTR, you said Dante. For me, Darby Allin. I can't believe he's not on this card. And I've never seen, I didn't see him live because I was at the first Double or Nothing, but he was on the pre-show and I missed the pre-show. So I've never seen him live. And I'm going to say a bonus is Sammy Guevara. Which
actually,
I can't believe these guys aren't on the show, and
I've seen Darby live. I saw Darby when he got his contract for Evolve. I saw him when he got his concussion in New Orleans.
Well, I'm going to be at Double or Nothing live.
Okay, that's nice.
Hey, I've never been to PWG, so
yeah, me neither. Jeff is a veteran. So I mean, like we said, there's a lot of guys. We mentioned those teams. Dante Martin I didn't even think of, but man,
I still think Sammy is going to end up on the show. I think that mixed tag's going to happen.
I mean, maybe on the show. Oh God, that's all we need is more matches on this show. I mean, the one thing you got to remember though is we do have those big shows in California, and those are big for AEW, and that's the next week, right? So we could see that tag team match in California.
James brought up that Paige will be huge in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
And
Ethan?
he thinks that
you got to be careful when you say Paige.
Sorry, Paige Van Zandt.
Oh, see, there you go. I thought you were talking about Ethan, and we've also got Hangman.
No, see, James thinks that they're gonna add the mixed tag match because they think Paige will be a surprise in Dynamite and call the match because it's gonna be in his opinion there's no better crowd that you could have Paige debut again.
Okay. Is it safe to say that James would have said Sting? I know he's a big Sting fan. I would love to see Sting live. I don't know if I've ever seen him wrestle live. I'm trying to think if I have.
I would love to see Sting live just because he was the first wrestler who got me to go to a wrestling show when I was 13 years old.
We named our first cat after Sting, and we've been married 31 years. And he had just won the world title for the first time when we got our cat. And I said, "Oh, let's call him Sting." And my wife thought we were talking about the lead singer of Police, and I'm like,
is it a true story that you were singing that when your wife met you were singing the Dusty Rhodes theme song?
Oh yeah. It was a bus. It was a bus on the way to youth convention, which is a church thing. And you guys are both church guys. And me and my buddy Lawrence, who's in our fight game group, he doesn't talk much, but he jumps in every once in a while. And it was dun 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 dun, dun, he's just a common man. And we would just sing that over and over again. And she hated it. Like she, and then, she told her friends, oh, this guy's an idiot, but he's cute. And mine was like, well, she's a bit of a B, but she's got a nice butt.
I love
and we're still together.
It is so romantic.
It's so that's beautiful.
Yeah. I was actually more into her friend, but ended up with her.
I just brought up that story because I have to hear Paul sing in any podcast.
Yeah. All right. So that was that. And yeah, if you're, I know there's a few people that have commented. So if you got anybody you're looking forward to seeing that you're not going to get to see, let us know. Now we've talked about this a few times. We've got the tag team title match. We got Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, the Jurassic Express, and Team Taz, Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks, which, this could steal the show. Jurassic Express always delivers. We've seen, Keith Lee have like 5-star matches, and, Swerve is maybe the most underutilized talent in pro wrestling right now. I think he should be like the face of a company. So yeah, what Jeff, who do you got coming out with the tag team titles?
Team Taz.
Okay.
I think it's time to pull the trigger on this Christian turn.
Yeah.
As well, but it's also time to. I mean, again, you said with Paige, we've given the Jurassic Express 6 months with the titles. I think maybe it's 3. Maybe I'm not counting correctly.
I think you might be right.
Have the titles elevated Jungle Boy? I don't know. But I think it's time to put them on 2 guys who can do something with the titles, and I don't think that's Jurassic Express. I think the match will over-deliver like the last Triple Threat was, because it'll give Jurassic Express time to not be in there occasionally, and then when they are, then it can make Perry look really, really good. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the Team Taz versus Swerve and Lee go at each other type thing. I could make an excuse where Jurassic Express keeps this, but I think it's time to change the titles personally.
Okay. What do you got, Kevin?
I agree. And I also agree it's time for the Christian thing. It's far overdue for them to pull the trigger on that. And for Jungle Boy's sake, because I think they've always had that in the pocket of saying, like, when he gets out of this, the feud will be Jungle Boy and Christian will be the one to help him, like that's the project, is to help him break through as a singles guy. And they're kind of overdue with it because, they haven't been awful. All the matches have been fun, but I don't know. What strikes me about this match is that they have one of the deepest, like they have great teams in this promotion. And I don't know. I have such mixed feelings about it because on one hand, I'm like, why are not tag teams wrestling for this? But on the other hand, I also love tag teams that are like 2 great singles people getting together and making a great team. So, it's kind of a wash in a way, but I'm all about Team Taz. I think they have really good chemistry. And I agree with John too, that Team Taz just feels like a good team right now, and they feel like they could be the champs. But I would try to get it from them onto someone else. I still want to fulfill my dream of Darby and Sting winning the tag titles, so Sting can have one last title win.
I've been calling that for months. So I guess I'll just be different, and I'll say, and I said this earlier in the show, all along I'm always wrong on the Jurassic Express. So I'm predicting them to retain. And so that means they'll probably lose. So I'm kind of doing the reverse psychology there, but I do think that it's time for that Christian turn because the look that Jungle Boy gave him, they caught it. The timing was perfect when he said, when Christian says, "We are the best tag team in the world," and Jungle Boy was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, it's we, not you. And it was like the one good facial expression he's ever done in his life. You wondered how long they'd had it. It's almost 5 months now, and they are actually the 3rd longest reigning tag team in AEW history, like the champions. They are 90 days behind Hangman and Adam and Kenny Omega, though. So I don't think they're going to get there. So they'll be number 3. Okay, so our last question, and then we're going to do one more match, then we'll just go over the rest of the card real quick. We've kind of hinted at this already, but we'll see if we can come up with anything else. Give a surprise appearance that you're hoping for. And and people watching, if they've got any ideas. For me, I got one name, and it can just be a one-off. I've never seen this guy live. He's my favorite wrestler. And it's possible because I know he's in the country. Tomohiro Ishii. I don't know how. I don't know what he does. I want to see Tomohiro Ishii, and I don't care. It could be on Rampage, could be on Dark. I don't care. I want to see Tomohiro Ishii. He could even be in that scenario that you talked about. He'd be a perfect replacement for Joe. It's basically the same.
He faced Cole in the first round, though.
Did he? Okay, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that was the first round.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. That throws that idea out. But I just want to see Tomohiro.
You might get him on Rampage or something. Who knows?
I want to see him live.
You know what? That's not the worst idea, though. To put the button. We've come full circle.
Yeah. So there's my choice. Kevin, what do you got?
I don't expect it to be a wrestling appearance, but I would love to see Omega come out and make an appearance in front of the people and just give an update. That's all I'm looking for. But I think Jeff's idea of a New Japan star coming in and replacing Joe is brilliant, and I'm now rooting for that.
Tanahashi, yeah.
Or Okada. We'll go with one of those two, but I'm going to say it's Tanahashi is probably the odds-on favorite there.
I've said, in my dream scenario card for Forbidden Door, it was Tanahashi challenging for the AEW title, and Hangman, after losing to Punk, challenging for the IWGP title. So we'll see.
Tanahashi winning the Owen would be a great way to set him up to challenge for the AEW title.
There you go.
Punk's the guy to do it, because people have been kind of doing weird pairings for me, but to me, the three pairings up top that you do are Paige Ospreay, Danielson Okada, and Tanahashi Punk.
Yeah. Tanahashi Punk to me is like such a natural. And they could have a 4.5-star match in their sleep.
Oh, it'd just be
it'd be so smooth and just beautiful to watch. We got one from John, kind of. There's the booker for you. Don't bring in a surprise if you're not going to advertise and make some money off of it. Right. He's the booker.
I am also at the point where it's like, no, we need to stop just bringing more people in. They're just
as long as they don't advertise the surprise. That's okay.
But for John, this is advertising for the next pay-per-view.
There you go. Well, that's what Garrett would say. Garrett would say it's investing in your like your brand loyalty. Like you're appeasing the hardcore fans, and you're giving them something they know when they buy an AEW pay-per-view, they're going to get a surprise. So, like you said, and their pay-per-views have always increased over the previous year. So, and I actually expected to do the same thing this year. Okay. One big match that we haven't talked about at all yet. And I don't even know if I want to go with predictions, but like kind of what we're expecting. And even if the Bryan Danielson, whatever that was on Rampage, if that's going to play into what's going to happen in this match at all. But we've got the Anarchy in the arena, which is, their clever way of not doing blood and guts, because they don't want to have two cages set up, and they don't want to do Stadium Stampede in an arena. So what are you expecting in this match, Jeff? You expecting any angle advancement? You expecting any like brutality? Or, is it just going to be a 5-on-5 match?
I think there's going to be a lot of comedy spots in this, to be honest with you. Okay. That's what I'm thinking for some reason. I think it'll be a nice brawl.
Yeah.
I hope. I want it on the brawlier side, a little Tupelo, Mississippi concession stand action type of thing.
Maybe they'll fight with popcorn in the real Owen tribute.
Oh, yeah. I think Blood and Guts is the blow off.
Okay.
So I think the Jericho Appreciation Society has to win this. I think it's probably be Garcia going over on Eddie.
Blowing over a feud that started 2 weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
No, I think the feud. I think the feud must continue. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do it.
I see. Okay, gotcha. So you're not saying it's going to be a blow off. You're saying
no. The blow off has to be Blood and Guts, and that's where Garcia has a come to Jesus moment, I think.
Okay. Yeah, Sam's got a good point here. And I was actually just reading the Observer today. Like, logic says it's Mox Tanahashi at Forbidden Door, but I just have a feeling they're gonna let that one go a little bit longer. Yeah, but that's a big match, anyways.
Yeah.
So for me, the one thing I want to say I'm a little disappointed about this is the fact that this was Eddie and Jericho's feud, and they've seemed to have just completely gone away from that. And I want to see Eddie get revenge for, I'm a wizard, I throw fire. Like, I want to see revenge for that. And for here, it seems it's shifted and it's now all about like Regal and Jericho, and and Regal
toothbrushes.
less said about that, the better. Jeff, you know what? Like I soured on that more and more after thinking about it after we talked about it on Wednesday. But
okay,
yeah,
well, I'm glad I could make you hate things. I appreciate that.
I don't hate it. I saw the problems with it. So for me, I'm thinking though that this isn't the end. So we're gonna see, and if that's the case, it has to be Jericho Appreciation Society winning, obviously, and to continue. Even Garcia's pinned Kingston a few times, so we could see that again. And then eventually we're gonna see probably Blood and Guts down the road, probably main eventing a Dynamite, I would think. Maybe in California, who knows? Kevin, what are you expecting on this?
I think the stuff with Danielson and the leg and all that was just him farting around, after the show and then making a show. So I don't expect that to play in anything. But I do wonder if somehow Danielson, they'll just be like they're on different pages or something, or he makes Kingston mad, and the dissension is actually how they lose the match in some sort of way. Not so much someone turning, but just like Danielson leaves him for dead or something because he's like, this isn't my fight, or that kind of thing. I agree though that it's a shame that like the story of the Inner Circle breaking up started with Santana and Ortiz wanting to be their own people, and then they've now bumped down to the third tier of their own faction. So that instead of being Jericho's henchmen, they're Kingston's henchmen, who are basically now Regal's henchmen. And so
soon they're gonna join Andrade's crew,
right? They'll be
they can be carrying the water for Jorah Joel.
Yeah, that's a real shame. But yeah, I agree. Whatever gets this back to Eddie and Jericho, I'm all for. I think if they do Blood and Guts and because they get in Blood and Guts, this ends in like an I Quit match or something like that. That's a one-on-one. I think that's what we need to see eventually. But I agree.
Eddie's got to make Jericho quit at some point.
Eddie has speaking of that, Eddie's Twitter, he was watching a Magnum Tully I Quit from Starrcade. So that might be a little hint there.
There you go. All right, so we're just about out of time. I said we're going to try to keep this to an hour, and I literally have to leave for the airport in like 5 hours.
You going somewhere, Paul?
No, I just like driving.
What you doing?
I just like driving to the airport. But we'll run down the card real quick, and this is from the AEW press release that they sent out earlier today. So we got the AEW World Championship match: Hangman Page and CM Punk. AEW Women's World Championship: Thunder Rosa champion defending against Serena Deeb. AEW World Tag Team Champions, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, obviously the Jurassic Express, against Team Taz of Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs, and Team, whatever they're called, Swerve to Our Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. TBS Championship match, Jade Cargill defending against Anna Jay. Anarchy in the Arena, we just talked about. Jericho Appreciation Society against John Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Santana, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston. We got the Men's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Finals, which will be Adam Cole right now scheduled against the winner of Kyle O'Reilly and Samoa Joe, and none of us think that Cole is actually going to be wrestling either of those two guys, I think, is what we came to the conclusion of. Women's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Finals to be determined. Young Bucks against the Hardys. Death Triangle against House of Black. We didn't even talk about that one, but I think that might still show. Okay. Yeah. And then the buy-in, Hook and Downhausen against Tony Nese and Mark Sterling. And of course, this is at the bottom because it's not official yet. MJF and Wardlow, pending the results of Wardlow's steel cage match versus Shawn Spears on Wednesday Night Dynamite. And it says additional matches may be announced in the lead up to Sunday. I didn't quite do that as quick as Excalibur would have done, but I did my very best. Yeah. He would have got through that in like half the time. So we are going to be, if you guys are watching, if people are listening later on, because they're going to put this up on the Patreon feed, come say hi to us when you see us in Vegas. And if Jeff makes the trek there, now you know what we look like. You can come out and see us. I've said it before. If you see me at a blackjack table, come up and say hi. Tell me what your favorite drink is, and I'll order it for you because it's free.
Take his 10. Put a 20 down there and take his 10.
No. I'm just gonna buy you a free drink because I don't drink, and as I have to say when I'm live on the air. And come see us at the Sweet Party and at the shows, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. Kevin, why don't you plug your show?
Yeah, we do the Boom. We usually record on Sunday nights. It usually posts on Monday evenings. James McDaniel and I run down the whole week of AEW. We kind of talk about our favorite matches. We're kind of experimenting with the format right now, playing with a little more news entries and
Love
things
the
like
new
that.
format.
And it's a lot of fun. James is a great co-host, and it's a shame he couldn't be here tonight. But I believe we're going to figure out some way to record something in person Sunday night. So first ever episode will be in the same room.
Ooh.
And our goal is to try to get my wife on to talk about her review of the show with no prep on even what the names are or anything. So I don't know if she'll participate, but we'll see.
I like that one guy with
that one guy who was the dude in the makeup and
I got to get in on this. I got to get in on this. So I will accept an invitation if you want to invite me. Jeff, plugs.
At Crap Game 13 on Twitter. I also do a show called Shake Them Ropes where I will be previewing AEW's Double or Nothing for the third time this week.
Hey,
I also did it with Warren Hayes over on his channel. I have not yet changed any of my picks yet, but I'm coming very, very close at times. I think I might be on live with a couple of people from Fight Game. After the show, I believe.
Sam and Mel, right?
Sam
Power Bombshells.
I almost call her Max. I don't know why, but Sam. I knew it was a 3-letter name. Okay, Sam. Yeah. If I'm lucid enough, because I'm going to take a shot every time I hear Paul say I'm in Vegas.
Well, yeah, but you won't be. I won't be on the show, so you
No,
know.
but I can imagine you could have sat next to you at a show.
True, yeah. or trying to start a new chant as I did the last time I sat beside Jeff at a show.
Yes.
And me, I'll be in Vegas, as I said, and we'll be recording a few different shows while we're there. I mean, Kevin talked about one, and we said, try to get some live reactions, maybe do something after Rampage on Friday. Maybe I'll even try to connect with James, because I think he's coming in for that. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens. So for Jeff, for Kevin, for James, who couldn't be here, but is here in spirit, I'm Paul, and this has been Boom Goes the Dynamite.